Bring back rock.
Hey everybody, it's Dean. Welcome to Bring Back Rock. Today we're talking about a band I really liked from they're active from the late 90s to the early 2000s. The band is Hair of the Dog, and they kicked ass when a lot of rock and roll bands weren't kicking ass. They weren't grunge, they weren't industrial, they weren't nu metal, they were just straightforward killer rock and roll. Usually this is where I'd probably start telling you the history of the band, but what I'm gonna do is just tell you a real quick story about the two times I saw them. The first time I saw them, they were opening for somebody at the Checkered Flag in Appleton, and I wish I remembered who it was. I think it may have been Ratt. But opening band, knew nothing about them. They came out there, high energy, the band was on fire, they were just, songs were up-tempo and killer, and Ryan Cook was every bit the front man, working the crowd and getting the exact reaction or response that he wanted from them. Great show. Met them afterwards, got their CD, had them all sign it. Great guys, perfect. Next time I saw them, same place a couple months later. I remember it was either the last month in September or last weekend, last Friday night in September, or the first Friday night in October, because it was opening day duck season. Let me just explain. My family opening day duck season was about me and my dad, my uncle and his kids, my cousins. A couple other uncles would usually join us. Sometimes other cousins would join us, and we'd all go out in the swamp and male bonding, and afterwards have a few beers and a few laughs, and it was just a great time, good family time. So that was very important to me. And this was a Friday night, the night before. Now, duck season, the best time is, first couple hours. It starts at sunrise. So before you even get there, before sunrise, you already have to get up, get ready, drive 45 minutes to the swamp, then you have to walk in to get your spot, and the walk was not easy. A couple different terrains. First, you're walking through tall, thick swamp grass that's pulling at your feet, trying to make you trip every step. Then we had to go through some water that was probably almost waist deep, get through that. Then you had to go through brush where the branches were pulling at your clothes, and don't walk too close behind the person in front of you, because they're going to pull the branch out of their way and they're going to come back, slap you in the face. Then there's the potholes where you have to walk through water. You might be ankle deep, and all of a sudden you're hip deep, and you can't get your foot out because you're in muck, and the muck suctions around your boot, and you have to work to get it out. I swear, last time I was in that and got stuck, at one point I thought, this is where I'm going to die. I'm not getting out of here. I could not get my foot out, and I've had it. So you're walking about an hour through crap to get where you need to be about half an hour before sunrise. Plus I had 2 hours of drive after the show to get to my uncle's place. So, and you're up 2-3 hours before sunrise just to get to the place you want to be. So you're getting up early. And I basically had time to drive there, get into bed, blink, and get up and get started. And seriously, by the time you got to your spot, you were sweating bullets, even though sometimes you're breaking ice on the shallow puddles on the way to the place. So great time, great family time. And we've all done this. We've all sacrificed. We went into work tired. We went into work with no sleep. We went into work maybe a little hungover, or maybe still a little buzzed. Whatever it was, went into school with no sleep. We've all been sister's wedding, whatever it is. We've all sacrificed a little bit of the next day, feeling like a zombie, in order to see a kick-ass rock and roll show. And because it was the day before that, I actually remember exactly. It was end of October, end of September, beginning of October. It was a great show. Great time, and just adds to it. But like I said, we've all done it. It's nothing special, but it is my memory from seeing Hair of the Dog the second time. All right, that's my story. I'm going to get you into all about Hair of the Dog right now. We're going to talk about them, and then you're going to play some music samples, and then I will catch up with you at the end of the video. And thanks for putting up with me. I'll see you then.
All right, let's start our Hair of the Dog story in high school in Farmington Hills, Michigan, where guitarist John Cepetis meets bass player Brian Saputo. Now, John eventually moves to LA for further schooling and gets an amazing internship working with Desmond Child. Seriously, Desmond frickin' Child. If you're unfamiliar, shame on you. He's a musician and mostly known as a songwriter who had some huge hits with bands like Bon Jovi, Kiss, Aerosmith, Alice Cooper, Joan Jett, and on. And not just album fillers, some of their biggest hits. Now, Desmond also had a management company, which comes into play later. John's sister moves to LA, sleeps on his couch for a couple months, and the head of Desmond's LA management company needs an assistant. John suggests his sister and gets her the gig. The head of management soon leaves, but Desmond and his partner agree to give John's sister Ruta a month to prove her worth, which she does, and eventually takes over the LA management operations, including Desmond Child, who doesn't just own the company, he's a client. Now, John and Brian are both in LA, and Desmond introduces them to guitarist Ryan Cook, and the basis of Hair of the Dog is formed. The boys are in a position to help write songs for their heroes like Kiss and Aerosmith because of their relationship with Desmond. However, they're feeling it as a band and decide to keep the songs and write for themselves. They released their first album on their own. They recorded a few songs and had 6 demos they remastered, brought the sound quality up, and turned the whole thing into an independently released album. They shopped it around, but no labels were interested. You see, this was 1997, and their brand of AC/DC, Aerosmith-influenced hard rock was not what the labels were interested in. The lineup for this first album was Ryan Cook on guitar and vocals, Johnny Thunder Evans on drums, Brian Saputo on bass, and John Cepetis on guitar. Now, they had to print 1,000 copies of their CD and had no idea how they were going to sell 1,000 CDs. Ruta, John's sister, also began managing the band. They got prime opening slots for bands like Cinderella and Ratt. They were selling up to 50 copies of their CD a night. They sold 1,000, then they sold 2,000, then they sold 15,000 and more. They received airplay and toured extensively. After touring on that album for 2 years, it was time for album number 2. And based on the number of albums sold, every record company knew who Hair of the Dog was. They had multiple offers, but turned down some of the bigger labels. Honestly, with the bigger labels, they'd have 20 A&R guys or so, and 3 or 4 would love the band. But at this new label, Spitfire, the entire staff was behind Hair of the Dog. And that means a lot. As we've discovered doing these videos, some of the bands ending up with no label support, no tour support, no nothing, or had 1 or 2 people that supported the band and they left for other job opportunities or whatever, and the band was just left in limbo. So having the label behind you was a big deal. For Rise, their second album, which came out in 2000, a new drummer was on board, Mike Dupke, replacing Johnny Thunder Evans. And a new producer was hired, Michael Wagner. Yes, the Michael Wagner, who is a producer and mixer and worked with bands like Motley Crue, Accept, Dokken, Keel, WASP, Great White, Skid Row, Alice Cooper. You get the idea, there's a lot more. He produced a great sounding record in Rise, which in my opinion was even better than the original. Album number 3, titled Ignite, also on Spitfire Records, came out in 2001. But before that happened, something else did, something to John Cepetis. Now, I'm going by memory of reading an article 20 plus years ago. I tried finding my collection, but gave up before tracking it down. If my memory serves right, he had some kind of injury or trouble with his muscles, something that affected his ability to play his guitar and continue with the band. They were still managed by his sister, who had her own management firm and even had Steve Vai as a client. But John Cepetis was now out of the band Hair of the Dog and left before album number 3, which just had the 3 guys listed as Hair of the Dog: Ryan Cook, Brian Boot Saputo, and Mike Dupke. This album was released in 2001 and featured Lemmy Kilmister on guest vocals on the track The Law, which is a great track, by the way. The band disbanded about a year later in 2002. Mike Dupke, he has played with John Mellencamp, Dee Snider, Shark Island, and most famously, or at least I was most familiar with him, from WASP. Brian, I am not sure what he ended up doing, but it looks like he settled down, has a family. John Cepetis is an executive vice president of A&R at North Star Media. He's also been able to keep writing with some of the artists on the roster. That leaves Ryan Spencer Cook. He continued in music business and worked with his idols, Ace Frehley, as a member of his solo band up until his recent or very recent passing, and as a member of Gene Simmons' band. He also has his own band that recently put out an album maybe a couple years ago, Rock City Machine Company. Check out that CD for some really good straight up rock and roll. Oh, And John Spettis' manager slash sister Ruta, she eventually became an author of historical fiction and is a New York Times bestseller. So bigger, better things, I guess, for Hair of the Dog, but as a band themselves, they really should have made it on their own. Amazing band. All right, let's hear some music samples and I'll catch up with you at the end of the video.
Whiskey tango, love the whiskey tango. 3, 4, I want you to do it some more. 1, 2, whiskey tango, love the whiskey tango. Come on, now how about you? See the walls come crashing down, beating inspiration. Don't speak no faithful lies. Yeah, I walk the walk. Tell me, are you on my side? I'm a chain reaction. I'm a lightning rod. And a time a cop on walking tall. Now I see you and you. Throw it on your walking shoes too. We don't start now. Get down, you and you. This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna start now. Oh man. I'll take your whiskey. Don't want you on top. Just step aside. Got my sights set on your daughter. Around 2 a.m. She'll be a 10. I'm gonna take her to a place she's never been. You cut me out. You gotta fight. I'm drinking hard. Makes me feel alright. Oh, baby, I ignite. She's funkin' on his radio. With patent leather hose in the backseat of high on blue. Don't play with him tonight. He's on the devil's side. A junkie's best friend is stealing down a skid row. A 357 in a glove box already. Found each other all the time. I can't believe that we're just friends. That's why I wanna say something that's been on my mind. Something that I haven't told you yet. Ever since we met, you have had a hold on me. Baby, I just can't break free. I can't think, I can't sleep. You're inside of me so deep. Can't you see? Oh, what you do to me. What you doing to me? Oh yeah. was B, C, the double D's my favorite. And got me thinking about a Brunswick born and bed. Knock 'em down, boys. Nature, plastic, they're rough and tested, baby. And glory be to the hills and the mountains step. If you like them big, say yeah. Bigger all the better they get. Hot damn, yes bands. Come on, ladies, show us you. And you know what I'm talking about. Look at them go. Oh no! Oh, here they go! I score the winning numbers and flush them down the drain. But I grab the golden ring, only to let it slip away. Sometimes it seems the dark side might be the place for me. I know the devil may care. I know the devil may care. I know the devil may care. I know the devil may care, but I don't. I know the devil may care, but I don't. I know the devil may care, but I don't. Rules here in no man's land. I am the law. You asshole. That's the shit.
All right, so that's all about Hair the Dog. Where can you find them? Well, they're not really on the streaming service. I did find the self-titled album out there. There's a number of bands called Hair the Dog, and on Spotify anyway, all the albums are kind of listed under Hair the Dog, even though they're different bands. But I only saw the first one out there. I did see them all on YouTube. Somebody has them posted there. But go ahead and buy the albums. You can find them online for anywhere from 10 to 20 bucks a piece, so they're not real expensive. Should be able to fill out your collection. They're really good albums. I highly recommend them. So check out Hair the Dog. If you haven't hit subscribe or like, please do that. Consider doing that. I really appreciate you guys just spending time here and putting up with me. I'll catch you on the next episode.